Hello and welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast. I'm your host, Doom Cutie, and we have my lovely co-host, Leishy, with us.
Hello, everybody.
Ellie is not here, as you can probably tell. She's off having a lovely little holiday. So yeah.
I think we're running into some tech difficulties, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine. We will. Let me just see. Yeah, Alana's having a few technical issues. So
Hello again. I am sorry about that.
Yay!
As soon as the intro card came up and we went live, my audio just died, but I think I fixed it now. So
Hello.
hello.
We love technology.
Oh, it's the best.
But welcome, Alana. Alana is editor with We Are Social AU. So thank you so much for agreeing to chat with us today. How have you been?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to chat with you guys. Been long time fan of both of you independently, and love Confessions of a Gamer Girl.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
We are going to be chatting about streaming today, and yeah, kind of because all of us have experience in streaming. Some of us aren't active streamers, but some of us have worked with other streamers.
Don't call me out like that.
It's totally okay. It's totally fine. But before we get into that, what has everyone been up to this past week? Leishy, what have you been up to?
Oh, I feel like I've had the busiest week of my life because the start of September is like all my family birthdays. I have my brother, my sister, and my dad. So it's just been like so involved with socializing and whatnot. But I managed to squeeze a tiny little bit of gaming in, which is exciting. And I actually started Fae Farm last night, which came out yesterday.
Oh.
So I'm going to be reviewing that one for Quest Daily. So definitely check out my review when it goes live. But yeah, that's basically my week. Aside from the fact I did go to the Nun 2 premiere and absolutely crapped my pants. Oh boy, did not sleep that night. So yeah, I've been pretty busy actually, but it's been great.
I have to say, the Nun 2, I've seen the little things. I had to like quickly scroll past your story. I was like, nope, not for me. No, thank you.
Oh gosh. Yeah, imagine cosplaying like the nun like that. That was just terrifying. But they did a good job with the marketing for it. So
wait, did they actually have like a live cosplayer there? Like,
they had a few people dressed up as the nun, like face covered with like a black stocking, like you couldn't see their face, and they're standing there like holding a candle, and they would just slowly walk up to you like this, and oh my god, I was terrified.
I'd have to go. I think to like remove the fear, I think I'd have to like full go and try and like get them to break out of their character somehow.
Yeah.
So I'd probably like try and do something really silly to try and like those guards in front of like Buckingham Palace. You know how they're like very strict.
Try
oh my goodness. Oh well,
I went to the Wheel of Time season 2 premiere last week, and they had one of the faceless cosplays there, and it was like incredible cosplay, like the no eyes or like nose and just like a huge mouth with so many teeth. It's kind of scary until like you realize the poor person inside like mustn't have been able to see out anywhere, because he had 2 people leading them along, like one on each arm, just trying to navigate, and I was like, okay, it's fine.
My claustrophobia would kick in so bad.
I know. They were just like kind of stumbling along.
They looked good. And that's
they looked good. Yeah, they did amazing.
The vibe was there. Alana, what have you been up to this past week? I know that we didn't actually bump into each other, but a little bit of an out of this world event happened.
Yes, the Starfield launch party. We were both there. What did you think? I really liked it. There were so many cool things to do, and like the chunks, the little marshmallow. Yeah, so weird, but I loved them.
I thought they were cake.
Yeah, well, there was one that does look like cake. There was one that was like grilled chicken, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
I can't remember what the other one was. It might have
The
been
other one
salmon
was
or something
just
like that.
Constellation flavor, which isn't a flavor, but I tried that one and it just tasted like sugar, which like I love, so I was happy.
Yeah, so they've got these and it's gone out in all like the kits and stuff like that that people have been getting. And they also had them there at the event, and it looks like a space food. Like it looks like it's supposed to be vacuum packed and like a long-term food. And on the outside it has written like what it's supposed to be and what it looks like, and so it's all colored in that way. But like you get it out and you have it and it's like a marshmallow. And the flavors are not what you think they are. So
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah, it was I think that added to the experience for sure. I kind of I kind of was really happy to like see everyone there. It looked great. Like the vibe of Starfield was certainly there, but I was a little bit disappointed that there was nothing to actually play. I did kind of want to. I feel like it was like the vibe for it was there of Starfield, that NASA punk. Um,
Mm,
but it's a game. So I really wanted to play the game or at least have some sort of gameplay there.
Yeah.
That's
That
probably
makes
my
yeah.
only
sense.
thing that
I kind of feel like it should have been on the night before launch to get everyone hyped up, and then
Yeah.
tomorrow
yeah.
night it'll be out, you can play it. I did leave a little bit early so that I could go home and play it.
Yeah, well, I had obviously I played it before the event because I had early access. Thanks to Bethesda ANZ and Keymailer. And yeah, lots of fun. But yeah, I wanted to see. I like watching other people play as well. So yeah, that's one thing that I would have added in that I would have changed. But yes, I've been playing lots of Starfield.
Good.
It's kind of addictive. And when I say addictive, I mean like it's a massive time sink, but I'm really happy that I'm there. Like I'm just and what's really wonderful that I'm finding is that I can just go at my own pace. I feel like that's the beauty of single player RPGs. Like you can get inspired by seeing other people's content and like their screenshots and videos and stuff that they put out. And there are some guides that can help you if you do get stuck on certain quests, but that's really limited to like how other people have explored the game. So I feel like if people aren't up to the same part as you, or they've even chosen a different direction, or they're engaging with less combat, or they're focusing more on building their settlements or their ships, like it's really going to depend. And I think I really like that because it feels like much less of a competition to
Yeah.
complete a game, because there's a lot of kind of for the trophy hunters, achievement. Can I say this? Achievement whore. Yeah, like like that's some people play games to do
Yeah.
that. But this is just one of those games where it forces you to enjoy yourself. You will have a good time in space and you will love it. You're welcome. Signed, Todd Howard.
Yeah, I haven't started it yet. We were going to download it this week, but we've got a pretty big and important thing happening in our personal life next week that we want to just have done before we start. So
Okay.
once that's done, we'll download it on Game Pass and finally get the Xbox up and running again because it sits behind the TV and collects
Oh,
dust.
God, you're breaking my heart, Lucy.
I know. But like, other than Halo, nothing really calls out to my partner to play it anymore. So I don't know. We'll jump in for sure, but just haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I've played
I
it for
believe.
like an hour or two. Most of that time was spent in the character creation. I am that type of girly.
Yeah,
But I've been playing
love that.
Baldur's Gate 3, and I was played a bit of Starfield, and then I was just like, nah, I gotta go back. Gotta go back to Baldur's Gate. Like my
Yeah.
paladin, I'm doing these adventures. Like it's
Yep.
so good, and it's there's so much to do, and like Larian had like an entire team that was dedicated just to making sure that like these tiny little interactions or eventualities that maybe like 0.01% of players would ever find or experience, making sure that they were still like perfect and satisfying, because they were like, well, you know, it might just be this tiny minuscule amount of the players who find this thing, but we want it to be good for those players. And it is just that kind of game where it's like everything you do, it just leads down this winding road and there's something really satisfying. And so I've been just sinking so much time into that. And yeah, I will go back to Starfield. I'm very excited. I customized my character and painted my ship, the one you get at the
Very good.
start. I'm excited to actually play it, but yeah, that'll be, I think, after I finish Baldur's Gate.
If you finish
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Rather when.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
play
then-
Starfield like next year sometime.
Look, and look, the thing is, right? So the way that Baldur's Gate 3 is, it's sectioned into acts. So you
Yeah.
follow this story along, and like obviously, you know, your interactions, but you do eventually get to the end of the act. So there is kind of an end. Where I think Starfield, it's just going to be, people are going to be playing this
Ongoing.
game for like 5 years, 10 years, like, and they're going to add to it over time, and it's just going to be a beautiful experience. But I will say, I think we're going a little bit like off topic, but that's fine. I saw on Twitter that Baldur's Gate, the voice artists are kind of like making themselves known. They're like, this is my character, or these are the characters that I voice, and all that kind of stuff. And like people loved it because those characters are so well executed, and it's just it adds so much richness to the experience in that game, which bravo to Larian for that. But I feel like Starfield jumped on that bandwagon because they were like, I voiced this character. I voiced this character. So, so I thought that was really interesting. But I think people really do like, you know, they do like to see who's behind it, and you know, their favorite characters in these games. It really does make it more of a human experience. So yeah, I love it. But
Yeah.
but who's going to get Game of the Year? I still don't know. I still don't know.
I
So
honestly,
many
like,
good games.
yeah, like I was certain it was going to be Zelda, but then all these releases happened afterwards and have kicked it out of the ballpark. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it, to be honest.
I know, yeah. And
It's
like there is still
intense.
more to come out. There's Spider-Man, there's
Exactly.
Alan Wake 2, which I'm
Yep.
so
Yep.
excited for. Like it's crazy. Yeah. It's a good year for games. We're eating well.
We are.
We certainly are. And because of the buffet gamer that I am, I don't like variety gamer. I like buffet gamer. Yeah, we're eating very well for sure. Control Alt Craft, our lovely mod in the chat, has said, "Tis of the kingdom or I riot." So
Yeah, I'm with her.
so yeah, you heard it here first. But let's get into our main topic for the day, and that is streaming. Why do we stream? How can you start streaming? What kind of tools are good for streaming? And maybe I think we can all kind of share the positives and negatives around that. Maybe I will start first. So when my wife was streaming, I still stream, not that regularly, but I've found most of the time that I stream when I feel like it, and I stream when I'm working with people, like charities and things like that, to stream. But I first started streaming, I felt a little bit of peer pressure because when you're a content creator in the gaming space, people often ask you automatically, where do you stream?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this assumption that if you work in this space, you will stream. The main thing that kind of prevented me from doing it earlier has been, number one, my job, like my real actual job. I would love this to pay the bills, but it doesn't. So yeah, and just time, you know, I can't the kind of restrictions around, working throughout the day plus family stuff, and then, what, at 8 p.m. I'm going to stream for 4 hours until midnight, and then, do it all again the next day. Like, some people manage to do it really well, but I found it quite challenging. Also, my internet connection, I live rurally and I needed to invest a lot of money in my internet connection. So I'm with Starlink, which has helped greatly, but the upload speed is not that amazing. So when you are streaming a game, like, a lot of the frames can drop, and it's not that great. And I want to put quality stuff out there. So yeah, those have been my limitations. I have found I actually it's kind of funny because for me, streaming is fun and it's a great way to connect with my community, but I haven't found it the most beneficial to engage with my community, if that makes sense. I think maybe it's just because I'm boring. And I think, and when I say that, I mean, I get really into the game. Like, I'm really focusing, and maybe, like, I hyper focus, and maybe that doesn't make me too entertaining. Some people like the coziness or the relaxation. Some people don't like the big loud streamers, but yeah, unfortunately, there has been a little bit of comparison there. But my why, because I want to, not because I want to make money or because I want to be famous or anything like that, just because I feel like it. So that was my why. But Leisha, you have streamed before, and but you currently aren't
Don't.
anymore.
Yes. Oh God, when was it? It was before COVID. So I
Yeah.
started streaming, I want to say maybe 2018. I can't really remember exactly. But like, I had already started my content creation journey and decided to start live streaming. Now, I guess my why was, like you said, to engage with the community. And I felt that I did really well when I was doing it. Then COVID came around and I unfortunately had to move back with my parents, which meant the internet was poor at the time, and I couldn't do it. I physically couldn't do it, and with all my equipment and stuff, I'm not having the space. It just wasn't
Yeah.
feasible. So every time I tried, I kept having issues, and it was always a connection issue. And that really started to just bring down how I felt about doing it. I started to hate it. And I knew that I couldn't continue being a streamer if I hated what I was doing. And then it started to turn into having to be on all the time. Like, I couldn't do it. I was going through so much in my life that it was so hard to put on an act and while I was live. And gaming for me, as I always say, and I say this quite a lot on the podcast, it's my time, it's my downtime, I get to relax. I want to play games that just de-stress me. And back when I was streaming, I was playing a lot of Call of Duty. Like, a lot of people would remember me for team deathmatch all the time. Like, that's all I played and streamed most of the time. And I had a lot of fun with it.
Wow, Leishi, watch out.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with it, but then it just became a bit of a chore. And as my change in genre started to happen, I just didn't think I was entertaining enough as well. And people call me a streamer all the time, like, especially when I explain what I do in real life. Like you said, people go straight to, you're a streamer. That's not the only career in games. We just have to say that. It's the most popular one. It's what you start to think of, but it's not just streaming. There's more to it. And I realized that was the direction I wanted to take. So I'm really upset that happened, because I felt like I was doing well, but the universe told me no, it just wasn't meant to be. And I too am going in a direction now where I'm moving, and I will also have to use Starlink. And I'm a bit worried that if I do try and start again, it might not be the best. And also, if I was going to, I would like to do it on YouTube, because that's my main platform these days. And I compare myself a lot to other streamers. A lot of people can put on an epic show, right? They've got the cinematics going. They've got, competitions running, and they're really engaging with their audience. And I just found that as I started to head towards the end of my streaming career, I just felt boring to myself. So I couldn't bring that entertainment. And like you said, Doom Kitty, some people don't necessarily want that. They like the coziness, they like the relaxing vibes. But I feel like if I'm going to put out a piece of content, it needs to be engaging. And for me, streaming just wasn't it in the end. So unfortunately, I'm not a streamer anymore. That was a long way.
No, no, that's totally fine, and I think it's important that, number 1, we we can feel our authentic self, and if, you can try something, and if it's not for you, that's totally fine,
Yeah.
and I think the more conversations we have around that, the more comfortable people will feel, and, I think a lot of that, I don't know, stigma, like, it's not a failure, that,
Yeah.
you came to that conclusion. And also, like, some of us started streaming when we were quite young, and maybe
Mhm.
changes in our life have occurred. Like, maybe we have families,
Yeah.
maybe we're just, you know, grown up a little bit. And not to say that people who are streamers are, like, immature, but I think the sense of gratification from others can really be consuming. And
Yeah.
I think we're moving into, like, another point, but yeah, and I think maybe we just kinda grow out of it a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe?
I also found that I started to have commitment issues with it. Like, I respect people that can put out a schedule and stick to that schedule, but
Mm,
I just couldn't do it. I was also working full time at that point in my in real life job, which, yep, these days I don't. I work 3 days a week, which is great. But back then, I was so tired having to deal with people all day and then come on and still put on a performance. Like, I couldn't do it. And every time I said, all right, I'm going to be live at this time, I would make an excuse not to go live. So that's
aw,
when I started to realize, yeah,
yep,
this is not for me, you know? And what I like to do now is I love educational content and I want to help people learn how to do it. If you want to be a streamer, I've got that knowledge for you. I can help you with that, even though I'm not one anymore, but I've been there and done that. And I'm so tech focused that I know how to create a streaming setup. So I think like I want to go more behind the scenes in the streaming industry as opposed to
yep.
being the one on camera all the time. And I think that's a good balance for me these days.
Yeah, definitely. Alana,
Mm.
you've had the pleasure of working with a lot of streamers in, lots of different capacities. What's your experience so far with their whys and why people have started, or
So a lot of the people who I have spoke to, I just as a bit of background, I used to run Pop Sugar Gaming, which was a
Oh,
vertical of Pop Sugar Australia.
amazing.
I actually think I think this was just before I started, but I think we like profiled you, Lishi.
You did.
Yeah.
That is a memory just unlocked. You guys did an interview with me. Wow.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was like the week before I joined or something like that.
Amazing.
So I didn't work with you on that one, but basically all the other profiles of streamers that went live on the site, that was me talking to these streamers. And before that, I'd worked in like games media for a long time. I've worked with like esports organizations and other like gaming publications. And so it does kind of come back to that streaming is kind of the most well-known gaming
mm,
profession, but there's so much you can do. Like if you want to work in games and even if you want to be on camera making content, streaming is not the only thing. Like
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do, amazing. But if you're like not really sure, but you know you want to make content, you want to play games, yeah, just know that there are a lot of opportunities out there. Um,
definitely.
but for a lot of the streamers who I profiled, their why was mostly they were already playing these games so much, and a lot of them did start or kind of ramp up their streams in COVID as well. I think that kind of, yeah, inspired a lot of streamers.
Yeah,
But they were already playing these games, and they were either playing them alone and wanting connection while they played, or playing multiplayer games with their friends and thinking like, we're really entertaining. Like my friends and I are really funny. We would do well if people were watching us. Like,
Yeah.
and so they started streaming just as a way of kind of, it's almost like we're doing this thing already, but we're not
Yeah.
getting anything from it, anything, money or opportunities. So like, why not just start streaming? Keep doing what we're doing, start streaming it, and then we'll kind of be able to build on that.
yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, I think that
I
is kind of what's so great about streaming. It's like if you do it and if you have a really good why and you kind of do it well, like you can just take what you're already doing and create a whole career out of it if you want, or like a side hustle, whatever you want in whatever capacity.
Yeah,
It's great.
definitely. I that's something that you touched on something really important. It's something that we try and highlight here is that there are a lot of careers in gaming, and especially for women as well. And there's so many layers to the gaming industry. It's just that streaming gets a lot of airtime. That's all. And like I've been podcasting for 2 years now, and when I realized that there was a gap in the Australian gaming kind of space, I knew immediately that okay, I'm learning from other people. It's very male dominated. I think I've got something really interesting, valid, needed that I want to put out there. I'm not a streamer. I like talking. I like video games. Let's make a podcast. so that's where I kind of settled into my content creation, and I love the idea that people can feel so comfortable sharing themselves, sharing their fun times with other people, and because I think that connection is one of the top reasons why people play video games just in general. So I think showcasing that on streaming websites, I think it's really cool. And some people are really funny.
Yeah.
like yeah, especially when they're playing like really exciting games. So well done to them.
Absolutely.
So all right, we get to this point. I'm playing these games. I think I'm entertaining, or my friends are entertaining. What do I need? What do I need to be a streamer? Lishi, what would you say?
So no matter what, I think I know the most important thing is your microphone. So if you are wanting to stream and talk to people, they need to be able to hear you clearly. So forget about camera, forget about your backdrop, having all this fancy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to click on your stream, and if your sound quality is bad, they're going to go find someone else. Like, that's just fact. So these days you can pick up some really good microphones for some affordable prices, which I think is fantastic. But without going too much into Elgato, because we love them here, but I do think after all that I've used over the years, they have the best microphones in the space for content creation and live streaming. And they've got a few different ones. But that is like point number one. And then if you've established that you want to be on camera, just start out with whatever camera you've got. And in most cases, it's the one in your pocket, your mobile phone.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
days, you can hook that up to your computer and use that as a webcam. So I think the biggest stigma about live streaming gear is that it's expensive. You have to go and spend all this money on all this fancy equipment that half of the people that buy it don't actually know how to use properly. So just start low, focus on the bare minimum. That way you start to build your audience. You want those returning people. So that's like my top tip, I guess I could say. And there's so many videos out there online of how to use gear. Like, self-plug, I have a content creator series on my YouTube channel. We go into detail about all this kind of stuff, but there's tutorials galore. And every room or every streaming setup is going to be different, and it's going to have different sound issues. So you can take tips from people, start tailoring your space, and then you've got your bare minimum to grow.
Yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of the people who I spoke to said basically the same thing, and just really emphasize the fact that when you're starting out, like, yeah, a lot of people kind of think that they need to go and spend this money in order
Yeah.
to get those people like returning to their channel or people to click on them and then stay on them. If you're engaging and you have, yeah, like a decent quality webcam, a good quality mic that people can hear you, then people will stick around if they like what you're making.
Exactly.
And then you can get the backdrop, you can get a fancy webcam, you can get a ring light, all of those stuff over time. And you don't have to get them, all at once over time. You can like slowly build up to it, slowly improve your setting. Because if someone likes your stream, they're not going to stop watching because they found a different stream that looks nicer. If someone likes your stream, they're going to stick around if you have
Mhm.
Yeah.
like, the the minimum that Lishi was just talking about. But yeah, it's not an all or nothing thing. Like, start small, just like grow at your own rate, and know that, yeah, it's not a barrier to entry.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
100% agree with that. That's a really good way to put it, actually, a barrier to entry. That's, yeah. People need to, if they're going to take anything away from today, like that point, 100%, you just don't worry too much about all the fancy stuff.
If you
For
want to
sure.
stream, just start streaming, and you'll figure out I mean, that's a massive oversimplification. You'll figure it out. But like Lishi said, there are so many tutorials. You can figure it out. If you look for something, you'll find a way to do it. You'll find product recommendations. You can look into like Elgato's mics. Like, they've got the whole setup and all of the tools you need. Like, start small and be smart about it, and you will figure it out.
But also put in the time. You know, when I started, I spent hours at my computer researching. Everything I've done, I'm self-taught. I don't have any management. I don't have an agent. I don't have a team. It's all me. But the reason I'm in the position I'm in is because I spent the time learning. Like, you have to be dedicated to yourself. That's the biggest thing. If you really want to do it, you'll find a way to figure things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's how I did it. And I honestly, up until about 5 years ago, I didn't actually know about streaming as a career. Like, that's how much I've had. I've known about it. I knew that esports existed, but I didn't realize people actually made money from doing this. So it's actually been a really wild ride for me. And you both raised so many fantastic points. I do want to say as well, a lot of consoles have the ability to stream directly to your preferred streaming network, and really, for a console gamer, it's pretty much plug and play. Like, if you have a stable internet connection, you can stream directly from your console, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation. Nintendo have it, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you are streaming on there, you've got your headset with microphone attachment. That is really enough to jump on and muck around with your buddies playing, whatever game you're playing in the party chats. And yeah, you don't need any additional software. You don't even need a computer. So
it's a really good point.
It's easier these days than it ever has been to stream. And today is the perfect day. So
have you ever done it from a console directly, Doom Kitty? Because I never have, and I always forget that's an option.
Yep, I've done it from Xbox Series X before. And I did have to, because you can change the output, and usually that makes your connection a lot more stable. I did find it was a little bit blurry, but that's just my internet connection. If you have a stable internet connection, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from streaming directly from your console, because it's all there. I will say, though, if you're in a party chat, lock it. Don't let randoms come in and wreck your stream, because I've seen that happen before. And also, just let everyone in if you are going to stream, because some people don't actually realize that you are. Please do make sure that you explain to them that you are streaming, and that their content will be up. You can actually, in your settings. So let's say I'm streaming, right? And Lishi comes into my party. She can actually mute her mic, so it doesn't actually feed through to wherever it is you're streaming to.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few flexible options for people. I do want to throw a little question in there. Do you think that having a camera is important?
No. I'll straight out say it. To get started, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you need to, I guess you got to get the fundamentals down of streaming, right? You need to learn how to get it all set up and make sure it's being put out there correctly and that you've got a good quality. And you've got to get used to doing it, because not everyone is happy being on camera. It took me years to make a YouTube video when all I did was post photos on Instagram. Like, the confidence wasn't there. And there might be some people who are confident in being on camera and absolutely go for it. But don't necessarily think it's the be all and end all. However, now that I'm thinking out loud, COVID changed things a lot. A lot of people started streaming and you kind of had to stand out in a way. And you can absolutely bring yourself to life a bit more through a camera. You can interact better with your audience and obviously show things. So going backwards though, I don't let that scare you
Yeah.
because not everyone wants to be on camera. So it can kind of go both ways.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would just like add to that, just basically what you said, like don't let it stop you. If you don't have a good camera or if you don't want to be on camera, you can still stream. There are still ways for you to do it. There's still an audience who you can find or build.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. But the
What do you
consoles
think?
you can plug a camera in. Just saying.
Yeah,
You
that's
can.
good.
I personally, if you were to compare yourself to someone who does have a camera versus, if you didn't have one, like there would be a little bit of like not feeling good enough. But you know
Yeah.
what? If you have a good voice,
Use
if
it.
that is your best asset, go for it. Just make sure your game and chat levels are, equalized well. And if you're not sure, your chat will tell you, or ask your chat. Like, yeah. So
Chat
honestly,
is your
people,
best friend.
yeah. Honestly, if anyone ever says to me, or they can't hear me, or like even here, for example, I think some people have mentioned that people are too low. I think Ellie had some issues being too low. I think on one of our first episodes. So yeah, I don't know. There's something. Like if you're going to engage, like let's say you're playing a game and there's like open party chats, like people are going to be focusing on that, not necessarily what you look like. Yeah.
A lot of the time
Very
as well,
interesting
I
points.
will have Twitch streams open like on my second monitor while I am
So you're
working on something.
listening.
Same.
Sometimes I'm not even listening. Sometimes this started during COVID when I was working at home alone and I was just going a little bit crazy being home alone. So I started having Twitch up on my second monitor. So it made me feel like I had someone sitting next to me.
Oh, yeah.
Very cute. And so at the time, it helped when that streamer had a webcam. But now, like, if I'm, depending on what I'm working on, if it's something that's kind of just like I can plug away at, I'll just have a stream open and
Yeah.
it'll just be kind of something that's on. So I don't need that to have a camera or even like it can just be gameplay, it can just be whatever. And it's just like something to have up. And that's kind of leads into another point, which is that there are so many people who watch live streams for so many different reasons, and everyone wants something else. Like, basically, there's an audience for everything, really.
There really is. I've seen lots of I've recently doing like food, like cooking food for, in games, like game themed food like that. That is my jam at the moment. It's really cool. I'm really really interested in that. So yeah, and there's like I think people just like sharing their life and feeling connected. And like you said, Alana, some people they just want the company. So yeah. Amazing. So obviously, like we have streaming, right? But we can't just like rock up and expect other people to be there unless we kind of tell other people. And that's where your whole personal branding comes in. Like each week, I have personally, and Lishi, you do the same. We go through the week, we share what we do, we promote ourselves when we are going live or when we do release a video or when we have a bit of content, because it's not just about putting those videos out or live streaming. It is actually about you as a person. So building your own personal brand it sometimes feels like a full-time job because because
Oh yeah.
there's a time where you have to like advertise for yourself, and then there's the time of actually doing the thing that you want to do. Like the amount of I probably spend 10 times the amount of time promoting Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast than I actually do doing it. You know, you know what I mean? So, Alana, building a personal brand, it's how important do you feel it is for people who want to move into streaming?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's very important. I I can kind of give advice on the other side of this. So I've worked for a lot of um, like agencies, and working on Pop Sugar, I was more on the brand side. And so I would reach out to streamers a lot, and just be like, look, I think you're a great fit for Pop Sugar Gaming. These are the things the site is kind of focusing on. This is why I'd like to talk to you. Would you be interested in having quick, like, 20-minute interview, or write up a profile or do an article? And I would send out like quite a few of those messages. Some people never got back to me, which obviously fine, for whatever reason you like decide to do that. But there are a lot of kind of random opportunities that will come your way, and that can be a really good way to build your brand and your audience and kind of find new fans. So I would just say, like, if you get any opportunities like that, like, just take them.
I,
'Cause-
Alana, I have a story for you. Okay,
okay.
so I over the last, like, I'd say maybe 6 months, I've had a lot more emails to me about me. People wanting to talk to me about me, people wanting to work with me. So my first pointer is, like, definitely check your spam and check your emails
Oh,
regularly, because
absolutely. Yes.
don't just make a, like, a dedicated email for your gaming, but then only check your personal one. Like, that's just not going to be a vibe, is it? But so this very, I don't know if I can. I'll just say it. So I, I got interviewed by a journalist. They sent through the questions to me, and then I've sent them back. It's for Officeworks magazine.
Well done.
I didn't know that existed. Okay.
Exactly. So
Wow.
I don't even know if it will be released this year, because they don't actually come out that regularly. But but you know what? When it does, oh, your girl's gonna be in a magazine.
Woohoo!
Right, keeping the
Hooray.
publishing industry alive.
You know what? For sure. So, and that kind of leads into that. You know what? If there's an opportunity that comes up, just take it. Like, it's, and you know what? That's going to not only kind of help you discover what you like doing, but you never know where you're going to find someone who enjoys your content. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry to
And
interrupt,
also,
Alana. I just had to put that in.
no, that's actually a great point. Like, something like that, you said you don't know when it's going to come out. When it does come out, post it on your socials. Like,
Oh, it's gonna be front page. I'm gonna be
like,
In
take the
post.
opportunity to brag a little bit. Like, I got interviewed, like, they reached out to me. Like, sell yourself, and don't be afraid to, like, this isn't obviously advice to you, just like in general,
in
I would say
general,
this
yeah.
is my advice. Yeah. Like, don't be afraid to, like, brag a bit and sell yourself. Like, they wanted to interview you, like, play that up. And even if somebody doesn't read your Officeworks magazine review, they will still see, oh, like, they got interviewed, that's cool, they must be someone
They're
of note.
important.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just all of that stuff, like, it all helps, it all builds up.
And it's experience as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
because some people don't know how to sell themselves, because it's probably just a confidence thing,
Yeah.
and also, like, there's a lot of, like, and I've experienced this, and I think Leisha has as well. The moment you start to promote yourself and being like, oh, look, I'm working with this company, or I'm doing this thing, a lot of jealousy builds up, and then you and then people for some reason just want to tell you all about how they think that you don't deserve this opportunity, and that you shouldn't be sharing it. So yeah, and all those people can go sit on a tack. Okay.
A big
And that's a
one.
nice way. That's a nice way of
Yeah.
putting that.
Absolutely. I have to
Yeah.
ask, though, Alana. So when you're scouting
Mhm.
in regards to personal branding, right? You might know someone as a streamer, but what kind of content on their other channels do you look for that qualifies as cool? Okay, I'm going to reach out to this person and going to ask them to join for the interview. So, like, what do you look for exactly?
So the basics is kind of how often they're posting. Like if their last post was like 6 months ago, and like so sometimes someone doesn't post a lot on Instagram, but then they post a lot on Twitter. So I will always kind of check everyone's channels, and that's kind of another point. Make sure people like me can find all of your channels. Um, so yeah, frequency of posting, the kind of engagement you're getting on that. Like if you have people who are liking it, commenting, and then maybe if you're like replying to them and there's like kind of a community angle there, that could help as well. Um, if I was scouting for someone for like an esports angle, I would be looking for content they're putting out that kind of shows that they're good at whatever game they're playing. Um, or if it's like esports casting, I'll be looking to see if you have like VODs of the games that you've casted. Like, can I go and see what you're like and if you'll be a good person to interview? Um, so really just make sure that all of your links are easy to find and then that you're sharing all of your content. Like make a portfolio kind of all your best work, because if people like me are looking for someone who can do X and you have a website or an example of you doing exactly X that's like super easy for me to find, I'm gonna go to you.
Yeah, that's such a good
Perfect.
point. Uh, m- make it so that whether you're using Linktree or whatever, put everything in there.
Everything,
And
yeah.
yeah, I'm actually in the process of wanting to create my own website.
That's what I'm
So
doing at the moment.
yeah, so just so I can put my best work up there, and so it kind of is personalized to me and what kind of information I want to put out there, because I know for a fact that if people are clicking on your profile and they can't easily access that, they're not you're not going to get
Yeah,
asked for anything. And make sure your email is really easy to get to
to
as
find.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so yes, fantastic points, Alana. Definitely. Um, what will we personal branding? Um, it's in everything you do. Like it's in every small interaction. It's how you comment on other people's work. It's the kind of things that you're sharing. And I think there's a fine line between sharing yourself and also being a professional. Like if you do want to make this a career for yourself, you do need to make sure everything that you're putting out there is, you know, kind of skating that line between showing you who I am, but also I have the flexibility to work with other people, other brands. I'm not bringing anyone's name into like disrepute or anything like that. I think that's definitely something to consider if you are
Mm.
wanting to move into this space and you are promoting your content. Like I worry about like saying naughty words sometimes. Not because I don't actually say them in my real life. Like people who know me, um not that I'm completely inappropriate, but like do I want to put that out there? Like, you really need to think about, because there are some people that are quite unapologetically themselves, but would they get the same opportunities to work with companies? Maybe not. How do you
And if
find
that's the
that line?
case, like maybe consider like making an alt account for your like you can have your personal one where you talk whatever shit you want to talk.
Yeah.
And then I mean, don't be an idiot, but and then your like streamer
The
Yeah.
account where
professional
you
one.
are, yeah. Um, but if you like, if that's kind of one step too many for you, it all just kind of comes back to like, don't be an idiot. Don't defame
Mm,
people. Don't make fun of people. Don't be inappropriate. Like, respect other people's boundaries, which is kind of, no matter what industry you're in, whether you're trying to be a streamer or not, like that's just the
it goes
bare
without saying.
minimum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. And you never know who's watching what as well.
Yeah.
Even if you're on, like, let's say maybe you're not live, but you're in someone else's game and they're live. I think that's another thing to be really cautious of as well. Like maybe you're not plugged, but you know, someone might see you. And if you're being a bit of a jerk, yeah, it's not nice. Just be a nice
Yeah.
human.
Be a
It's
nice
not
human.
hard.
Also, follow other streamers. Like,
Mm,
I found so many people in the like comment threads of someone's post. Follow other streamers, follow people who do things that you do or you want to do, and then like interact with them. So not you don't have to like interact with every post they make. You don't have to send like huge comment threads back. Just like their stuff, you know, don't be afraid to comment something if it's
yeah.
the right thing at the right time, which again just comes back to the bare minimum stuff. But like, yeah, just kind of interact with that community, because A, that will kind of help you become a part of it, and B, help other people learn about you and learn who you are.
Yeah, like I always comment on Sarah Bond's posts, like across all of her platforms. You know what I mean? And if you don't know who Sarah Bond is, she's the vice president of Xbox Gaming. But you know what?
Shoot your shot.
Look, I'm shooting my shot. One day she's going to come on the podcast, and we're going to talk about what an awesome woman she is in the gaming industry. And I look forward to that day very much. You heard it here first, guys. Exclusive. Sarah, reach out. Love you. Um, oh, amazing. Yeah, and you know what? I think the whole like gatekeeping in this space is kind of probably one of the most negative things that I've experienced, especially as a woman. Um, what are what stands out to you guys as the biggest challenges for us in this space? Lishi, what do you think?
I've just had so many over the years. I just can't like pinpoint one. I think like for me, gatekeeping, just how to do things, is one of the biggest ones, right? So for people who might not have a techie background or know how to use OBS or you
Oh,
name
don't
it.
even get me started, Lishi.
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
I
like
know.
my arch nemesis.
But people just don't want to tell you how to do things because they're threatened. They feel like you're either going to overcome them or you might get more opportunities than they will. And that's just not the case at all, because if your content is good, it will stand out. We've said this pretty much this whole episode, like you're going to get noticed if you're doing the right things by yourself and making good content. So I think like it's probably one of the biggest for me in my time over the years, is because again, I'm self-taught. I've always reached out and asked the question, how do I do this? Or does anybody know why my webcam's doing this? Or you name it. And half the time you just don't get an answer. But then you'll get the one or two angels that will come out and say, yeah, this is what's wrong. So really, like, don't underestimate how helpful you can be by not gatekeeping.
Be one of those angels. Like if someone posts something and they're not sure about, why something isn't working, just be like, oh, in my experience, this worked. And like sometimes people have been like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it might have been even a person that was like, I don't know, someone I consider like more, successful than I, or someone that I look up to as a person in the community. And like sometimes I've actually helped them, or like I've seen something cool that someone's posted. Like I think someone posted a photo, and I didn't know how people did this. Like, and I've done it before with like wrapping like long LED colored lights around stuff to like make that like really cool lighting effect on photos. And I didn't know how people did it. But like there are these like mini like light bar things that people have. And I didn't know those existed. But you know what? I messaged that person. I said, hello. What is this? What is
What is?
I like this. What is it? And yeah, and people have asked me. They're like, "Oh, I saw that that headset," or I saw oh, where did you get your controller from? I've got a lot of controllers. You've probably seen them, Alana. I have a problem. It's okay, uh, but yeah,
It's under control.
it's fine. It's that I still have space. So yeah, be one of those angels, and yeah, definitely don't be afraid to like ask those questions. Definitely, for sure.
Because either they're going to respect you for answering the question, or they're going to dislike you and find someone who will help them, form a relationship with them, and the community grows from there again too. You lose
Exactly.
respect the more you don't help. And look, you don't have to talk to people, right? There's people that just want to keep to themselves, and that's fine. But if you're purposely going to gatekeep certain things, like, I'm sorry, I don't have time for you if that's how you're going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost
Probably
every streamer I profiled has said the same thing. Like, just ask. There will be people who help you, and you can form great relations with them, and like, potentially like go on their stream in the future.
Yeah.
And like,
Imagine
like
the collaborative opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it
Yeah.
rising tides lift all boats?
Yeah.
Great analogy.
When we all play, we all win.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm here all week.
There's no I in team.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I'm like furiously trying to come up with one to match yours.
Actually, doing, and I'm sure Leisha, you'll experience this as well, like writing like really like headlines and things like that, working in games media, like it really kind of like helps you like be really quick sometimes. Being a wordsmith, love that. There was something else I wanted to say. One negative thing that's happened to me, it's probably come up in the last year. People think that I only get opportunities because I'm a girl.
Oh, we love that argument, don't we?
It couldn't possibly because I have any sort of skill or,
or you've worked for it.
Or anything like that. It's just because of my reproductive system. Anyway, and I find it absolutely deplorable. And it's honestly, it's my wife for this podcast because the more people tell me no, or the more people that tell me I can't do something, it makes me want to do it even more. And
Absolutely agree.
I'm not saying I feel this every day, all day, but I will say it's my general was it operandus modus. That's some Latin for you. There you go. It's your reason for creating, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a massive challenge, and I don't think it's ever really going to change anytime soon completely. But the more we speak about it, the more we do things that we're doing, like this show and so many other things out there. And I see a future, but it's like, unfortunately, it still feels like it's so far in the distance. So we really just got to keep up working together and just trying to bring down the stigma as much as possible.
Yeah. The more interviews with Officeworks magazine that we can get out there, I think will really help our
breaking
cause.
barriers.
For sure. We're breaking glass ceilings out here. Alana,
for every one person who thinks you only get opportunities because you're a girl, there are two other people who are like ready and willing to welcome you into their community and work with you and support you. Like, there are people out there, and sometimes it can feel like there aren't or you can't find them, but there are people out there. They are willing and ready to connect with you and support you and work together. So just stay positive, I guess, as much as you can, even though it sucks sometimes.
Amazing. Alana, your insights have been absolutely incredible today. So I can't thank you enough for coming on and agreeing to chat with us despite our, first technical difficulties. But
No, I think that was all on my side.
that's okay. Again, thank you so much, and let
Thank you
everyone
for
know
having me.
where they can find you and what you'll be up to in the next week.
Oh yeah, so my Twitter is Alana M Young. I share a lot of my work there, a lot of old stories. I pretty regularly share the article I'm like most proud of for my time at Pop Sugar Gaming, which was an investigation into whether Mario's ass got bigger from the Mario movie first trailer to the actual movie. Very proud of that piece of investigative journalism. And just
so
share other ridiculous gaming stuff there. In the next week, I will be playing a lot more Baldur's Gate, maybe some Starfield, who knows, and just like looking for more amazing streamers, creators, gamers to work with, and trying to like give them a moment in the spotlight.
Oh, we love to see it, Alana. Thank you so much. Lishi, sorry. I don't know why my throat is like doing like a weird thing. I'm sorry. Lishi, what are you going to be up to this week? Hopefully we see a bit more of your lovely Elgato series that you've been creating. Is another one coming out?
There is one in the works. Yes,
Lovely.
I have got my monthly September content plan ready. I'm just waiting for some more product. But as a fellow member of the Big Butt Clan, this week, this coming week, I actually have the Blue Beetle premiere, which will be interesting.
Oh, cool.
Because I'm kind of feeling like the superhero movie fatigue. So I'm hoping this will kind of like re-spark me a little bit, but we'll see. I'll be continuing Fae Farm as well. So very interestingly enough, the game's not great on the Switch. I'll say that. For now, it's just so many performance issues for a little cozy indie. I didn't expect too much, but some of the stuff I'm seeing is really disappointing. So that'll all be in my reviews. Don't worry about that. And then it's just PAX prep. Getting ready for next month.
Yeah.
Are you going to PAX, Alana?
I don't think I am. I'm skipping it this year, giving myself a little well-earned break. But I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing everything about it. It looks like a great one.
Oh, well, enjoy the break. But
Thank you.
we're in full swing, and this week we're going to have an exciting announcement on Confessions of a Gamer Girl about PAX. So look out for that. Very excited to share that with you all. And next week's episode, we're going to be having Bex Bomb from Xbox UK.
That's cool.
She is a firecracker of a woman in gaming, and I really hope she wears her. She's got like Xbox have like bling. Like she's got this like bling necklace with a controller on it. It's like it's on my like it's
I want
that. It's so cool. And I saw her wearing it. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, so we can't wait to I personally can't wait to have her on because I'm a big fan. And yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Alana. Thank you, Elgato. We will see you next week. Enjoy.
Bye.